My dad, my girlfriend, my brother, and my 2 dogs were on FaceTime too. So they were pretty happy when they found out. But again, I was like, hey guys, we got to go, back to work and earn it every single day. So it's been a lot of fun.
Max, regardless who we ask, they always say you are the person studying the most film. Like you were studying it at the beginning of training camp on guys that you've seen in the past. What is it about like attacking it mentally as well as physically that helped you here?
I think that's kind of always how I've been. I've kind of always been operating that way in my entire career, and I think it's because honestly I haven't been as physically gifted as some people in this profession, and I think when you're kind of on the shorter end of that stick, you have to kind of outwork people mentally, and you have to know your superpower, and I feel like I pride myself on being really mentally capable of understanding what's going on and having a good idea of what the game plan is, and I just want to be able to help my room out as best as possible, and find little things that may help JJ or Carson or whoever's in the field or on the field succeed at the highest level. And ultimately, it's about winning football games and providing value. And if I can do that and provide value by watching as much film as possible and finding little things that will help us, then I'll do that.
Max, did you have any practices, like looking back in the spring and summer, where you kind of felt like, yeah, maybe I belong here? Like any of those kind of feelings or experiences?
Yeah, I think it was gradual, to be honest.
Okay.
I think there's ups and downs, little critiques every single day, and I think our staff does an amazing job of building you up, but also showing you where you can get better. And that's a room thing with our quarterback room, but also just kind of going up the totem pole with the staff. I think our team, we do such a good job of holding each other accountable, where there's not a ton of time to be like, I made it. Like you can never have that mindset, especially in NFL, and especially here with the Vikings. So I think there's some good things you can build upon, but there's always some stuff you can critique yourself on and your teammates, and ultimately want to be championship worthy every single day, and that's what it's about.
Max, when the practice has changed now and the first teams get a lot more of the reps for game prep, how do you go about developing when you're not getting as many practice reps?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think from the very beginning you learn that you get 2 or 3 reps when you first get here for OTAs, and then you might get a few more here sprinkled in. And I love what Tom Brady said in an interview. He talked about those 2 or 3 reps are like game reps. Those are your Super Bowl reps, and like you have to treat them like you're going in to play Chicago Bears Monday Night Football mentally. And JT's done an amazing job with me. We go through the script behind the ones and the scout team going on at the same time, and we're running the exact same plays, just on air. And that's a credit to him for putting that time and effort in with me. But it's also just a good way to keep your mind fresh and your body moving, because standing around for a while can kind of get difficult to kind of, if you got to get thrown into the reps, it's tough if you're standing around. So I applaud him for that, and I can't wait to continue. I look forward to doing those reps with JT every day, because it feels like I'm taking the actual reps.
Had you not taken a shot at Minnesota and the Big Ten and proved that you could play in the Big Ten, would you be here today, not just because of ability, but because of scouts being able to create a perception on you?
Yeah, I think about that sometimes, and I think if you get too caught up on where you come from in the past, I think it's difficult to kind of be in the moment and be where your feet are. I think that everyone has their own path, and everything happens for a reason. And I went to Minnesota for a reason, and I ended up with the Vikings for a reason. And whether I was going to come from New Hampshire or come from Minnesota and make it to the NFL, I'm confident in my ability to be able to play at this level. And the path might have changed, but I do feel confident that I'm here, and I trust that I'm here for a reason. And I'm grateful to have people that believe in me as well, just as much as I believe in myself.
And Carson Wentz is a product of the SES as well. So, I mean,
yeah.
you probably knew of him from North Dakota State, when you studied top quarterbacks in the league you're in, huh?
Yeah, it's very cool. I think I'm a huge fan of FCS guys making the NFL, and Easton Stick and Trey Lance, and Carson Wentz coming from NDSU, and a few guys mixed in there. I get to kind of be a part of that crew for a little bit, and I take a lot of pride in that. I wear that on my shoulder, and New Hampshire is my roots. Like, that's where I started playing college ball, and I talk to those guys weekly, and I'll never stop continuing to communicate with them. And I truly feel that I'm here because of the foundation that I laid at New Hampshire with that team, that staff.
However, if you claim a Gopher, I think you're the second Gopher to even be on a roster as a quarterback in like the last 60 years.
Yeah, it's a very cool feeling. That just, it shows you all the work that we put in as a team with that staff and the team that we played with the Gophers last year. And again, that's another piece of the foundation you're building for everybody's career. And I'm so glad I got to be a part of it. And because we had success that year, I got to be able to make it to play for the Vikings right now. And Again, it's an earn it every day mindset. If I feel like I'm not truly working to the highest of my potential, then I feel like I'm doing them a disservice. So it's been a lot of fun, and I can't wait to continue to play in Minnesota. I feel like when the more challenging games that I've been in have been games when I haven't taken like 20 minutes to take the environment in, and it's good. I've learned from mistakes that I've made in the past with that, and I felt like the first time going to US Bank Stadium, I really took my time and took the environment in and just talked about in my head how grateful I was to be here. And I look down at the logo on my chest every single time I play, the NFL logo and the Vikings logo, and it's such a cool feeling. And again, it's a dream that you've been dreaming of since you were a kid, and you got to snap back into reality.